Hey everyone, welcome to Watch It, Paint It. In this video, well, we're going to be looking at the Wrath of... What? Hey everyone, welcome to Watch It, Paint It. In this video, we're going to be painting up Vashtorr from this Wrath of the Soul Forge King box set that's just come out by Games Workshop. Just to let you know, we got this completely free, so bear that in mind as I paint it. It shouldn't make any difference whatsoever. I'm not reviewing the miniature or the box at all. I'm just going to put some paint on the miniature, so there's that. But yeah, let's crack on with it. Let's go and get some paint on this big boy. So I've got Vashtorr all primed up in Army Painter's matte white primer, and then we're going to be using speed paints for basically the entire miniature. I'm going to see if I can do the whole thing without any normal paint. I might need a little bit for some details, and I would recommend, if you want to take it to the next level, definitely consider some highlighting after the fact. But for now, Speedpaint 2.0, and we're just going to see how much of this miniature, how fast I can paint it. It's a big boy. It could take quite a long time, really, but I think he's quite, I'm going to follow the reference art, and I think it's quite simple, really, and only takes a handful of colours, and I think Speedpaint is going to achieve a really nice look very, very quickly, so I'm very excited to get a big boy like this completed on my shelf. So we're going to start off with Purple Swarm, and we're going to take this, and I'm going to heavily thin this down using Speedpaint Medium. I'm going to go for an 8:2 ratio, so 1:4, that's right, maths. So that's 1 to 2 drops of Purple Swarm to 4 to 8 of this Speedpaint Medium. Nice and thin. I want a very, very light purple for his skin. And then we're going to simply take a big boy brush. This is actually the Kalinsky Sable one, the Game Envy one, the Phalanx Select. It's currently on Kickstarter. If you saw, I did a review video just recently on that, so check that out if you're interested in the brush. I'm just trying it out at the moment. I think it holds speed paint very, very well, and it's a very nice brush, actually. It's very accurate, so it might be a bit wasted just slapping speed paint on, but I want to take it for a spin, so that's what I'm using right now. Either way, it's a size 2 brush, so plenty of paint on this. And yeah, I'm just going to move all around all of the skin parts doing this first coat. We'll probably apply several more and darken it down in various places, sticking to that reference art, but for now it's just finding all this skin, so his arms, his legs, his belly, his face, absolutely everywhere where his flesh is showing through. And because this is so thin, it doesn't need to be that accurate. Other paints are going to go on top of this very well. Don't forget, this is Speedpaint 2, so it doesn't have the reactivation properties of previous Speedpaint 1, so also going to be able to paint on top of this very, very easily. So yeah, the accuracy is not a big problem here, and it's just about trying to do it quick because I want to get this boy done. So his skin's ended up a little bit darker than I actually wanted it to be. I should have doubled
the medium.
I think I got the ratio wrong. I meant 1 to 8 is what I should have done, not 2 to 8. It's just a bit darker. I wanted to build this up. So I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing. I know I said I was going to do it entirely with speed paint, but this is just because I've gone too strong, too fast. So I'm going to take some Brain Matter Beige. I'm going to mix in a little bit of the leftover purple just to give a nice whitey purple highlighting colour. Then I'm going to get a dry brush. Again, this is from the Phalanx Speed by Game Envy. It's on Kickstarter at the moment. I'm not trying to sell Kickstarter. I'm trying to explain that anybody who follows the channel is getting to see me test it out in real applications, not just very quickly in a review. Let's continue. And now you can see I'm just getting most of this paint off. I'll lower the amount on the brush, get it nice and dryish, but want to keep some moisture in. Lots and lots of people left in the comments very helpful tips that you don't actually want to remove all the moisture. So this kitchen paper is ever so slightly damp, so it's keeping some moisture in the paint. But then I'm just going to very, very lightly, because I don't want to take out too much. I don't want to bring this back to white, but I just want to make him a little bit paler and just bring some of the highlights back to this miniature. As I said, I did want to go entirely speed paint for this miniature, but I've just gone a bit too strong with this purple for my liking. It's not close enough to the reference art. This really just gets to show you the new speed paints don't reactivate, but also if they did, this would be a nice time for them just to bleed through a little bit, because it's going to give a little hint of purple. But anyway, you'll get to see that a little bit here, as well as just taking it like up a step. You don't have to just use speed paints. You can occasionally, if you want, or all the time if you want, add some extra layers of highlight, and that's what I'm doing here. Not only will this make it look a little bit better by the end, because there's a little bit more time, a little bit more effort put into the miniature, a little bit more depth to the colour, but it's also just going to make it paler. That's what I'm really going for here. I just made it a little bit too purple. I wanted a sort of pinky, fleshy sort of look to it. So I'm just going to go round, as I've been doing while I'm jibber-jabbering at you guys, and just highlighting this up. Just a light coat. I'll probably go around a couple of times until I get the colour towards what I want. Actually, I need to be careful here because this hasn't actually dried in the pools. I put it on quite thick in these nasty looking holes he's got, but everywhere else I will be going round and just highlighting this back up to a slightly lighter purple. Apologies, guys, if you wanted a one job done solution. I messed up. You know, I'm a human. I make mistakes. I went too strong with the purple. In my opinion, if you actually like how this looks, by the way, just don't do this step. Keep it as it was. Keep that purple flowing as it did. That's the skin looking about how I wanted it, a bit closer to the reference art and just looking cool in its own right. Just wanted to mention I am painting this up sub-assembled, so I've got a few bits kicking around, and one of the other bits of skin are these sort of the parts of his wings that attach to his body, his arm bits of his wingedings, and then I've also got like this separate as well. We're going to move on to the next colour now, and looking at the reference art, he's got a kind of inner glow. He's kind of glowing red from the inside of the machine. Certain parts of his, like his mouth, a little bit red. He's got some vents on his cheeks that are a little bit red. His axe is glowing a little bit red. Some of the vents, some of those skulls, some of those exhaust things on his back have got a little bit of red. He's also stood on some sort of base which looks like it's all cracking and a bit of lava. So I'm going to use a new colour in the Speedpaint 2 range, which is poppy red, a kind of bright red, kind of orangey red as well. And that's just what it looks like in the reference art. So I like to try and keep as close as I can, see how accurate we can get with Speedpaint 2, but also my skills. I think it's my skills that is going to be the thing that doesn't get as accurate, but I'm going to give it a go, and I want to make it easy and quick. And that's what this sort of paint is for. You know, you can be an expert and use it for certain parts, but you also could be a beginner. It can be a lot easier. The ease of use factors there, and it's just very quick. And I want to get something painted. Got a splash of red in most of the places I want, and you might notice I've not been that accurate. There's three very good reasons for that. One is I'm going to be using metallic speed paint over the top of most of this, and it's really like strong and thick, so it's going to cover up most of my mistakes. The second one is this is like a flame, like a lava from the inside of it, so it wants a bit of a glow, so not being that accurate is not going to matter too much. And third, I'm just not that accurate, like my hands aren't that good, so I make a lot of mistakes, but you know, it is what it is. Just want to put that there. So next I'm going to take a little bit of nuclear sunrise because I want to get a brighter glow, a more orangey one in the center of like the lava that's running here, and then probably on some of the bits of his axe for when I cover it up later on. Just want those bits being a little bit brighter, so let's apply some of that. With that splash of orange added to the red, I think I'm done with the lava for now. I'm going to be moving on to jumping this miniature on a lot, and that's going to be using Hoplite Gold, one of the new metallic speed paint. This is quite a bright light gold, so I'm going to be using this to do the lighter parts of the reference artwork, the lighter gold. That's kind of like the inner parts of his armor and his axe and things like that. I'm going to use a small brush, take a bit of time. Don't want to start getting too much paint anywhere I don't want it now, because this paint's much harder to paint over. Plus I've done the purple and I've kind of done the red now. So next up we're going to use another metallic speed paint, and this is Broadsword Silver, and this is going to be to do all of the silver bits. In the reference artwork, some of it's light, some of it's dark. I'm going to do all of it in this colour, and then we're going to see and adjust accordingly afterwards with maybe with a little bit of wash or highlighting up just a bit brighter. We'll see how it looks at the end of this, but a lot of this miniature is this silver. A lot of his wings are silver. He's got blades on his wings. There's loads of mechanical parts as well. He's got all of these, what they call like hydraulic pistons. They're on his body and his arm, on his legs. A couple of things to note while I was painting that silver is I did 2 coats on these sort of exhaust things on the back, so I wanted them a really dark silver. They're also difficult to reach. I actually would advise, guys, if you are going for a sub-assembly sort of paint job, paint these before you glue them down. They're an absolute nightmare to get your brush in between, especially these ones here. That was not a pleasant experience. I think that was it actually. So sub-assembly this, double coat on that because it looks way cooler. And then the last one to mention is that these little worm things want to be metallic, so I'm going to do those in silver as well. The last bit of metallics on this little fella, I would like to do a bronze, and again we're going to use a speed paint metallic, which is this Talos bronze. I take 3 drops, only 3 drops of that, and I'm going to mix it with the Hoplite Gold just to 1, so 3-to-1 ratio. A couple of reasons for that, and one is because I wanted to make it a more golden bronze and just lighten it up a little bit, make it closer to the gold, just like a dark gold in some respect. But 2, because the Hoplite Gold is actually the best of all 3 of the metallics. It flows the best, it fills the best, it just settles the best. It's the best of the best of the best with honours. So frankly, just adding a little bit is going to make it a little bit smoother. And then we're going to take this paint and we're going to be coating the last of the metallics on him. So there's bits all over him, all over his wings as well. Basically anything I've not done so far is going to be in this colour, and then we'll work from there. And this will be a big completion to the miniature. We'll finally start to see him starting to really take shape with the majority of him now painted, and start to be able to work out where we need to go next and what areas we might improve with. But yeah, we'll go around. It's slow and steady work. I might add 2 coats. We'll see how it looks after 1. But yeah, for now, we're just going to give it a nice coat and see where we're going. So that's all of the metallics covered now. It's starting to really take shape, like where this is going. I'm going to have a little rest, do something easy, and that'll be the base. And for that, I'm going to use a new color in the Speedpaint 2 range. This is going to be a Cultist Cloak, which is kind of a bluey grey. It's kind of like got a bit blue/purple tone to it. It's quite a dark grey. I've not used it before. I want to take it for a spin on this. I think it'll look nice on these rocks that are going on the base. Have a look what you think. There's plenty of greys available. You don't need to follow suit, but I just think this is a nice colour to try. Yep, I was right. I really do like this colour, so I'm also going to use it on his hooves as well. I think that's kind of what they look like in the reference artwork, so I'm going to splash these on here too. Just being a bit careful not to catch any of the bits that are now painted. It's just sort of careful going forwards, I think, at this point. As I mentioned, I was going to use Grim Black anyway on this miniature, and I just ended up using that Cultist Cloak a lot more, but we will use some Grim Black now, and I think this is like the final bit, and then we'll just go around doing a bit of tidying up and maybe some highlighting. We'll see. I'll let you know what I decide. But yeah, Grim Black, just on those pipes, any pipes I can find on him. There's a few like things connecting him together, and in his face, on his wrist, especially on his flamethrower one. There must be some sort of gas inlet pipe or something, who knows. But there's a few things, basically what's left white on the miniature. The top of his skull as well, I decided to do in black. Thought about a Cultist Cloak, but I thought I'd make the horns look a little bit different to the top of his head, which kind of looks like it's a separate piece, like it looks more like it's mechanical, whereas his horns look like it's part of the demon, the organism underneath. Anyway, let's do some black. And with that, we are completely done, guys. Now, I did go away and do a little tiny bit of details. I added in some eyes using oranges and yellows, and I just highlighted up some of the spikes just using a light silver, but that was pretty much it. So this, guys, this is like 100% speed paint because of the new metallics added. You know, even the metallics are now speed paint. Everything was speed paint. This was a very easy miniature to paint. It still took a long time. There's quite a lot to it. It's quite a fiddly little fella. I kept dropping him and breaking bits off and having to re-glue them back on and all sorts like that. But it was enjoyable, and I think he's come out looking absolutely awesome. Quite a little spectacle on the table. Ultimately, very, very impressed with what you can achieve with just speed paints and how quickly you can do it. If I could go back in time, I think I would thin down the purple a little bit more. It's not quite like the reference art. Now, it doesn't have to be the same as the reference art, does it? So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think I wanted it more subtle, less vibrant purple, and I should have just added more medium. My bad, but it is what it is, and I still think it looks great. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know what else you would like to see done with speed paints, and if any colours are of particular interest. As you heard in the video, I'd not used that Cultist Cloak in anger yet, so you get to see it here, and you get to see all 3 metallic colours used properly on a miniature as they were intended. Yeah, like I said, guys, let us know what you want to see in the comments below.